What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Alolan DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. Now last episode we covered the bug water type Golisopod, and I gave you guys a choice between two dark type Alolan forms. We had Alolan Persian and Alolan Muck, and Muck came out on top, so that's what we're covering today. But of course next episode's vote is still up for debate, and that is a choice between two fairy types from the Generation 7 decks. They are Shinotic and Comfey, so you know, the grass fairy or the pure fairy, both fairly bulky, so similar, but you know, a few slight differences there. So let me know down below which let's see me cover by either commenting Shinotic or Comfey, and the one with most votes will be covered next episode. But for now, let's jump into Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck is a poison dark type and number 89 in the National Pokédex, as well as being the sludge Pokemon. In terms of dimensions and size, it stands at 3 foot 3 inches or 1 meter tall and weighs 114.6 pounds or 52 kilograms. It's in the amorphous egg group, and the male-female split is 50-50, fairly simple there. And evolution-wise, Alolan Grimer evolves into Alolan Muck, starting at level 38. So, taking a look at its base stats, you can see it has sort of a weird stat spread. It has very high health points, attack and special defense at 105, 105 and 100 respectively, and then fairly low defense, special attack and speed. So this thing is a physical attacker, clearly, but it can be used defensively too, thanks to its fairly high special defense and its mediocre physical defense. Ability wise, there are actually 3 available here. We have first up Poison Touch, which makes all contact moves an extra, I think, 30% chance to poison the opponent, which is pretty good. Then we have Gluttony, which makes it use a berry earlier on. This is okay, but nothing amazingly special. And then finally is the hidden ability, we have Power of Alchemy, very similar to Persimmion's ability Receiver, which means when a defeated ally is defeated, obviously, it gains its ability. So obviously this is only going to be useful in doubles, so of course we won't be using it for many of these sets because it's not that useful an ability anyway. So, the Poison Dark typing, how does it suit up in terms of its typing? Well, it's actually pretty good. There are 4 resistances in Grass, Poison, Ghost and Dark, only 1 weakness which is Ground, and it's immune to Psychic type too thanks to its part Dark typing, taking neutral from all the rest, so I'd say it's pretty good typing really. Yes, there's only 4 resistances, but there's only 1 weakness, so it's pretty good typing, I'd say. So move wise for Alolan Muck, what have we got? Starting off with the level up moves, of course, we first have at level 18 Poison Fang. Now it's only a base power 50 move, and of course there will be more powerful poison moves coming up, but the reason you want to use this is because Poison Fang itself has a 50% chance of badly poisoning the target. Add then on the Poison Touch ability, which is an extra 30% chance to become poisoned, so you have a 50% chance. If you don't hit that, you've still got an extra 30% chance to poison them as well. So if you're looking to poison the opponent as well as doing a bit of damage at the same time, Poison Fang is the way to go. This is followed up then by the other stab we have, which is Dark, with Knockoff at level 29, 65 base power, so slightly more, and of course knocks off the opponent item, which is a very good added effect, so it's definitely worth thinking about using this. Obviously, it's probably the strongest dark type move you'd want to think about using, so there's that. And then one final level move is Gunk Shot at level 40, a much more powerful poison type move, 120 base power, but only 80% accuracy, and of course it's not as much chance to poison, so Gunk Shot is the power choice rather than, I guess, the strategy choice, but that's however you want to look at it. Moving on to the TMs, we have first TM31 Brick Break, a fighting move, so obviously it offers you a bit extra coverage, I suppose, 75 base power, so it's pretty standard. And this is followed up by a special move that you might want to think about running, which is Fire Blast with TM38, very powerful fire type move. This is generally to look at steel types, because otherwise you haven't got anything to cover them. Of course, poison they're immune to, so Fire Blast is a good way to simply knock them out and do a lot of damage to them if you're focused more on, for example, Toxic and poison the opponent on that terminology, strategy, I don't know. Anyway, then we follow up with TM44 Rest, which of course pushes you to sleep and restores your health points. And then skipping over the next one, we have then TM88 Sleep Talk, which of course is then used in combination with Rest to use a random move, which can be useful. And then the one we skipped over, Poison Jab at TM84, is basically another poison stab, not as powerful as Gunk Shot, but more powerful than Poison Fang, but of course, again, the chance to poison is lower, but of course you still have that 30% chance if you're using Poison Touch, which is a pretty good chance nonetheless. Then we have 2 egg moves to finish up. One of them is Pursuit, which is just an alternative to Knockoff basically. Only 40 base power, but of course if they're switching out you can bump that up to 80, so it will do more damage in those situations, but in a standard situation, only 40 base power. Then we have one final move, which is Shadow Sneak, which is a ghost type stab. This is a priority option for you, really the only priority option you got. You don't get Sucker Punch, unfortunately, maybe in the future, but right now, nope. So you have to deal with Shadow Sneak, no stab, but it's priority for when you need it, because of course Muck's speed stat is not exactly stellar. So the sets, we're going to look at two sets today. The first one will be basically a vest set, the second one will be a bulky set, focused on actual bulk rather than attacking. So the first one we have in terms of moves, Knock Off, Pursuit, Gunk Shot or Poison Jab, and then Shadow Sneak, Brick Break or Fire Blast in the last slot. We have Poison Touch as the ability. It's probably the best one to use. Gluttony is not helpful unless you're using a berry, which we don't tend to. And of course, as I mentioned, Power of Alchemy is not very useful in singles at all. The nature here can be Adamant or Brave if you're using that Fire Blast. Assault Vest is the held item here to boost our special defense even higher. And then in terms of EVs, we have maximum health points and attack for a bulkiness in general, and also dealing some decent damage. And the last few trickled in special defense. So obviously we're not really looking at physical defense here. This isn't a bulky set, so we're just putting it all in one. And obviously we can just do a lot of damage with our physical attacks still. So Knock Off or Pursuit, running both of them here is optional. Of course, you could take off Pursuit, for example, and have Brick Break or Fire Blast in that slot to free up an extra move, a bit more coverage. But Knock Off is there for when you need to knock the item off. Pursuit is there for the situations where you switch in and you think they're definitely going to switch out here. Pursuit them, do double damage, maybe even take them out, and it's pretty good in terms of that. Gunk Shot or Poison Jab, of course, this is sort of the full power set, so that's why we have Gunk Shot as a possibility here. Up to you whether you do, which one you use. It's power for accuracy, basically. So really, it's up to you in that sense. In the last slot, Shadow Sneak, Brick Break or Fire Blast. Shadow Sneak is if you want some priority in your life. Brick Break is if you want some coverage in your life. It does cover steel types as well. But Fire Blast is the alternative to give you a bit of sort of range, I suppose. So they could send a physically defensive Pokemon in, and you could Fire Blast them, just to sort of catch them off guard, I suppose. Hence the Brave nature, if of course you're running that, so you're not completely nullifying that special attack. Adamant nature, though, if you're not using that, is completely fine, of course. Boosts your physical attack to the roof. And the vest, as I mentioned, just helps boost your special defense. We're not really looking at boosting physical defense here, because we just want to be fairly tanky in one sense, and also doing decent damage in another. How would you use this set? It's a simple vest set. I don't really need to go over it too much. Simply switch in, use a couple of moves. If of course you're running Pursuit, you can predict the switch. So if they have a Slowbro in there, you can switch in. They're a psychic type. They're probably a bit afraid of me because they can't hit me with psychic moves because I'm immune to them. So I'm going to Pursuit, hoping they switch out, get that double damage off, and see how we go. But of course, if you're not running Pursuit, that's also fine. Just go for the knockoff, get rid of their item as well, which is also a pretty good sort of extra effect. So yeah, that's sort of the first set. Moving swiftly on to the second one, as I mentioned, is more bulky. It's similar though. First we have Knockoff in the first lot of the moves, then we have Gunk Shot, Poison Jab or Poison Fang, basically a poison move. Then we have Pursuit or Rest, and then finally Shadow Sneak or Sleep Talk. Ability is Poison Touch once more. Nature time is an impish one to boost our physical defense, and the held item is a Black Sludge. Black Sludge over leftovers, because obviously if someone manages to switch a it, they end up getting poisoned if they themselves are not a poison type. EVs this time are again maximum health points, but this time maximum defense, because we are looking to boost both our defenses up, and the last few trickled in special defense for a bit of extra there. So it's an all-around bulk set here, but there is one major choice in terms of the set, and that is whether you run Rest and Sleep Talk. You can go for sort of Knockoff, Gunk Shot, Pursuit and Shadow Sneak, so you're bulky, but you can also deal out some attacks in return, or you can just stick to Knockoff and, for example, Gunk Shot, and then have Rest and Sleep Talk in the last slots, because then you're bulky and you have a way to restore your health points apart from Black Sludge. So that means you can start doing some attacks and start dealing some damage, then you can rest, then you can Sleep Talk and carry on doing some damage, as opposed to just doing damage until your health points gets worn down. If you are thinking about running Rest and Sleep Talk, I'd probably recommend not running Gunk Shot, since obviously you won't really be able to use the move to its potential, I suppose, if you're looking to stay in battle for a long time. So you're better off running Poison Jab or Poison Fang, and as I mentioned, this is more of a set where you poison the opponent and let it run down slowly. So Poison Fang might be a better choice here, because you're not looking to do loads of damage, so the idea here might be go Poison Fang, Poison Touch, boom, they're poisoned, and it will slowly take them out, because it's bad poison if they get poisoned by Poison Fang, so it's definitely more to think about. Knockoff is there to knock off items, because that is generally a really annoying thing to happen to you, so definitely something to think about running. And then, whether you run Pursuit and Shadow Sneak or Rest and Sleep Talk is up to you. It's attack or it's basically resting up. Of course, Rest will also nullify any burns you end up getting because you are a physical attacker, of course. So Rest will allow you to alleviate any burns and basically just remove the effect from them, basically. So you won't have the burn anymore. You can then continue Sleep Talking, and their strategy, if you will, won't work. So yeah, that's generally a bulky set you'd go in. If you're running Rest and Sleep Talk, you do damage, then you Rest and Sleep Talk. Simple as that. But that is going to be it for Muck today, for Alolan Muck I should say. But of course, do not forget to vote for next episode's Pokemon. We have a choice of Shinotic and Comfey. Comfey, I don't know how to say it, but we'll cover one of them next episode, so comment down below with whichever one you'd like to see covered, and the one with the most votes will indeed be covered next episode. But for now, this is going to be it for me for today, so I shall be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.